I'd like to call this meeting to order, the West Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Board Meeting, Ascension Parish Courthouse, April 7, 2022, 5:15. We'll have the invocation by Mr. Robert and Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, thank you for another beautiful day. Thank you for another opportunity to do the people's work, to make a difference. Thank you for all of those that give the service in the town, those that come during the times we need them the most. In your name we pray. Amen.
Man, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The number 2 roll call, myself here, Mr. Robert here. Motion passed. The public comment period, is anyone willing to speak on anything? Comment period, sign the card and bring the card up to Ms. Peggy. Acceptance of minutes, March 3rd, 2022 for.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Robert, second by Mr. Thomas, that the minutes of the March 3rd, 2022 West Ascension Drainage meeting be accepted. Any discussion?
No discussion.
Any objection? No objection, motion passed. Number 5, Chairman's report, announcement. First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I want to appreciate those that are here. I'd like to recognize the Lafourche Basin Levy District Representative, Mr. Donnery Henry, and Board Member, Mr. Jeffrey Henry. We thank you all for coming and look forward to hearing from you throughout the meeting. Appreciate it. In my report, I'd like to point out the trash bags, the cans. Miss Regina, you might come into the stand. The bins that we haven't delivered to the locations, Lemonville, A-Bin, Modus, and Bruley McCall.
I thought it was Lemonville and Modus.
We got Lemonville. I got a list from Mr. Goldsmith.
Okay.
We'll have them delivered to Palo Alto, the fire station, to A-Bin, Lemonville.
Where you putting it at in A-Bin?
On the property that we had in the back.
They didn't want it there.
They didn't want it.
No, they didn't want it there. Palo Alto didn't want it there either.
But that's they didn't tell me that. So
that's why we removed it last year.
okay.
They can't put it on the part in A-Bin where that road's abandoned?
Where at?
When you come around the levee and they have that old road? Is that?
I'm not sure. I guess I have to get back with Mr. Goldsmith on it. I thought that we were putting
Why
them.
don't we do that? Why don't we get back with Mr. Goldsmith? He sent me a list of the places that they'll be putting them down. So
Okay. I thought it was just Lemonville, Modus. They didn't want them in Palo Alto and they don't want it in A-Bin. On Mount Bethel Lane you talking about?
right.
They don't want it there.
Well, allow us to check it out.
Okay.
We'll check it out. But
Okay.
for sure, you got Lemonville Park, the Modest Park, and it was told I had to list
And
the Palo Alto fire station.
the Mount Bethel Lane, that's the park? That's well, the reason we're not
Yeah.
doing it there is because we don't have that property.
Right. We cleaned out everything there.
So is that who you're saying doesn't want to have the dumpsters?
The
in there?
church owned the property.
Exactly.
We're working with recreation, but we've removed everything recreation from that spot.
But my question is, you're saying they don't want the
They-
dumpsters? You
I
mean
mean-
the church?
The church.
Okay. Well,
They wanted it picked up last time and we had to get the people back out there to pick it up.
Yeah, I'd like to find somewhere else in A-Bin. I mean, as long as it's not the people that don't want it, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Okay.
Maybe we can go out there one day and find a couple spots.
Okay,
But they definitely have some spots out there, I know.
all right.
So we don't have any property in Modas, not Modas, A-Bin.
We do, it's right by the park, but it's not accessible by the road, but I think they should have some right of way we can use somewhere. Or find a landowner or somebody that'll,
It had to be parish-owned property. We'll find something.
Also, Regina, I need you to get back with me with with this project. Allow me to, as far as Mr. Goldsmith, he advised, he said he'll be coming out sometime next week. I'm not sure whether he contacted you or what.
No, I'll call him.
I'd like that you check with him and, to give me to get a date, a sure date on when they'll be putting them out. So we can remind the residents within the area and the people within the area, that these cans will be coming.
Okay.
They'll be able to put these cans. The other thing I like to put, I could make a motion to put on the agenda the, Cotton Drive, 167 Cotton Drive drainage ditch to, really to talk about it.
I'll second your motion.
Can you repeat that?
The drainage ditch on Cotton Drive,
Okay.
the resident is Danny Zarayan.
Yeah, I just spoke to you about that earlier. We're waiting on some paperwork for legal on that matter.
Come up to the mic, Mr. Paul.
We just need to get a right of servitude in there and, just a hold harmless standard agreement. And, I gotta get that up. I'm the holdup on that. I'll
Who's
get that
not
over.
given the servitude, or is it that we just haven't gotten it?
The whole road is not for the parish. It stops at a certain lot and further back is private owned.
So we're gonna get a
what
hold,
I'm asking is, are they giving us issues about it, or we just haven't gotten it yet?
I want us to have a hold before we go in there. And so I gotta get that over to her and she's gonna get that signed.
So they go with signing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Also,
good.
I think, hold on, Mr. Paul. I think we're talking about two different properties. Danny Zarayan property is, Koki, Elray Koki, asked that, they would sign up the whole homeowners agreement.
Okay.
To get on the property.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, he's saying that.
They still gotta go
sign
through
it.
legal
He's
to
just
get
saying
done.
they gotta
I'm gonna get it over
Is
to her.
that the same property?
Yes.
Okay. Danny Zarayan, that's who you talking
I
about?
just know the road that.
The
I don't-
road
I
is
don't-
Cotton Road, it's not,
Yeah.
it's no road behind it. It's the ditch behind the house.
I've looked
And
at
you
it
have a
before.
lot
We
of
sat
different-
and looked at it before.
A lot of debris and trees that's in it that needs to be cleaned out.
Yeah.
All the
Is he-
property don't belong to the parish. So he gotta get the servitude and all of that signed first before we can go any further.
We're gonna take care of it. I got it.
That's what I spoke to you about earlier
So
today.
you holding it up?
Yes, I'm the holdup.
You the hold up?
I'm gonna get it to her.
I'll give you a cell phone number.
All right, give me a cell phone.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Yes.
All right, the other thing I have is, the Napoleon, the ditches that we had, the canals, or the Napoleon.
We still
that
cleaning
we had
canals.
the throne fly over the sea.
Mhm.
Have we got to that, any,
We cleaning them. We still cleaning.
still clean?
Mhm.
How's that going?
It's going.
Which one we on right now?
Barrett,
Barrett?
by the jail.
We finish any one of them?
Yeah, I don't have my paper from last week, but we finished the Irish Canal. What's the name of it? Down on 943, we done with that one, and I'll give you the rest. I'll give it to you Monday. Send an email.
An update on the machine, tractors, anything down? We having any problem with any equipment?
We still got two down, two tractors down, one machine down. Is that affecting our work, moving forward now?
And we're still waiting on parts for these tractors.
Just parts.
And are they given any foreseen date of receiving these parts?
We just waiting. We just working with what we got. They loan us one of their machines. They help us out.
Okay.
So we still rolling. We ain't never stopped. So we got the tractors rolling. We were cutting with what we have.
The other thing I had was the tires.
Uh-huh.
Are we still accepting tires?
Yeah, but nobody don't bring them. We're not fully set up yet for that purpose,
Yeah.
but we still picking them up outside the road.
We have anyone bringing in, no one bringing in? Or are they aware of that they could bring them in?
I'm
Have
not
you
sure
made any
because we're
effort?
not fully set up for it yet.
Okay. Any time limit or any timetable on when we looking at setting up for it?
I can't give you one.
I suggest looking at setting up for it with some of that effort of the people going out and picking them up, because it might decrease somewhat.
Well, I mean, it's a whole process that gotta be done. We got covers to put down. We need to get a fence up. We got our gate up. That's on that entrance.
We should
We
be
have-
able to get a container to put them in something.
Well, that's not the problem. Where we putting them at is not the problem. Just getting that whole thing set up. If somebody bring tires, we receive them, but nobody don't bring them. We pick them up offside the road.
Had we had any lately, or?
No.
Been having nothing? Also, I want to ask you about the hotspots. Have we been having any,
We
for
picked
the-
up Monday.
The Eben spot? I know normally you pick it up and they put it right.
Yeah, it's back.
It's back, okay.
We picked it up Monday, it's back Tuesday. We got Acosta, the Loop, the River Road, and the Smoke Bin.
River Road and Smoke Bin.
In your folder, you got some pictures.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I
We
see
gave you some pictures of the trash that was around the dumpsters as they were out and other things. You had asked me about a report back when we had them. That was the only paperwork that we had, so I put it in your folders.
The other thing, Ms. Thomas, I had the Smoke Bin, River Road, ditches. Had we touched that at any time this
Clean 'em
year?
out?
Yeah,
We cleaned them out before, a couple of months ago, on the River Road.
because we have a lot of debris back up in that area.
Well, we spent a whole week and a half cleaning up debris and cleaning out the ditches with a lot of the trash and trees that were in them. So if it's back full, I mean, I rode down there yesterday. We got trash on the levee where bed and fence and a couple of other things that somebody threw out there.
Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Jeffrey Henry and Mr. Spencer Harvey for getting that dumpster removed in Modas that was overfilled with trash, tires, and a lot of other stuff. That was moved last week quickly. You and Mr. Harvey did a good job, so I want to thank you all for doing that, because we had a lot of residents and that was complaining about it. So it's moved and moving along. And that's all I have, Ms. Thomas. Thank you very much.
All right.
Number 6, we have the Bayou Napoleon, Bayou Barrette project update. Lafourche Basin Levy District Representative, Mr. Donald Ray Henry.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name, for those of you who don't know me, is Mr. Donald Ray Henry. I'm the Executive Director for the Lafourche Basin Levy District, which serves the parishes of St. Charles, St. John, Ascension, and St. James, and part of Lafourche. And I was asked to come and give a brief update and status of the dredging project that started in 2019, and that was fully funded by our Senator Price. We were able to get some capital outlay money to start dredging that project, and also, at the time in 19, I think the council men were Oliver and Mr. Bill, who at that time we had made a field trip, and Mr. Robert, you were there. But I want to say to both of you gentlemen, thank you for this invitation, and I apologize for not following up specifically on how I got here, but I got a boss who I listen to, and that's my honorable vice chairman of the board. He had talked with somebody, I don't know who he talked with, but he told me I needed to be here, and I missed the Pelican game to be here. So I just wanted to let everybody know, Councilman Thomas and Honorable Robert, that the project is a 6.7 mile project, and it's going to be coming to a completion. LB has completed 6 miles of it already, and we are currently working to finish it. And I wanted to Google it, and I can show you better where we are, where we started at Burton Road, you remember. And we have traveled north, and we are about a couple of miles from 70. And so sooner or later, we're going to get together, and I'll be able to show you the progress visually of how much we have accomplished for that drainage project. I brought some before and after pictures that I'll leave with you all and to show the progress as well. Right now, the project was started, like I say, in November of 2019, and we started from South Burton Road, Councilman Thompson, at the Bayou Verret intersection. Okay,
That was the starting point?
that's where we started. Yes,
Bayou Verret.
Bayou Verret, at that canal, and I'll email you some pictures of that particular spot. That's where we all met a couple of years ago. And one of the reasons why it's taken us a little longer than we did because of the pandemic, of course, and
Right.
this project progress is very much dependent on the weather. That equipment is, you can't get back there after it rains. We've been getting a lot of rain. And right now, we are also in the process of, we have some friends of ours who are seeking some grant money. So where that project started, Bill, south of that goes to Bayou Desalma. And that's a different type of mitigation like I was telling you earlier. So we got some people working on securing some grant money so we can take it even further, all the way to Bayou Desalma. And a lot of people don't know Donaldsonville, of course, this is north of this, where we started. So all that water is draining in this area. And as director, it was intriguing to me to start looking at how water leaves Donaldsonville and come through all the fields and come through the back way on where Riverdale is and come across the highway and the intersections of Napoleon and Verret, how all of that water is coming into that canal. And it hadn't been drained in a long time. And I tell you, when you're going to go back there now and see the before and after, it's flowing pretty good. So I really didn't know before I started how it connects even at the Greater Israel Church, that little canal where the bridge is, and it goes into the field, and all of that comes together. Those of you who hunt back there and fish, we kill a lot of big snakes. They weren't used to people. But I just wanted to let you know that the project was fully funded. We're so grateful to be able to say we are almost done with this portion of it. And we're also in conversation with Ascension Parish to also dredge that subdivision that connects to where we started. Because, I often wonder when I was a kid, actually when I was an adult, Coach Thomas, we would always see when it rains, that water would fill up by the overpass.
Right.
It drains, but it drains slowly.
Right.
But as we dredge all of this and get all of this stuff cleared out, all the trash and debris and the soot, you're going to have less of that. So it's a very important project. I want to let every one of you know that we respect all of you, and we want y'all to be a part of when we finish. We will send out the proper communication so we can take a field trip, and we're going to have the proper equipment so you can actually see exactly what we did, where we started, and how far we have to go. It is so much better when you can actually see it. I had these maps that I use on Google Earth, and I thought I was going to have one-on-one where I can show you, but it'd be a whole lot better for us to go out there and visit and drive it. So we had to obtain a lot of permits, and that was pretty costly, and I want to thank the Ascension Parish Drainage Board who was persistent in making sure that this project wouldn't die. And it's almost to an end. The parish officials are very much anxious for us to finish, and I will let you know, given, notwithstanding the weather, we look forward to it. I want to also say that we just can't, it's not just going out there because we have the equipment and the money and just doing it. We got to get permission from landowners and all of that. And right now, the last part, which is the southeastern side of Highway 70, we're about to enter into the Assumption Parish jurisdiction. So when we couldn't find the landowners, we were able to do an emergency declaration with St. James Parish. And we were able to go on, we were able to continue the job. We're at that same point now with Assumption Parish. So our attorney is conversing with the parish of Assumption's attorney to get us that same emergency declaration that we can get on the property and complete it. That 1 or 2 miles left, and that's the only holdup at this point. Other than that, we would be finished already. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
What's the completion date? Are we close to the completion date, or do they
Well,
have a completion?
Like I said, the completion date, I would say it would be 3 weeks to a little less than that. The only thing that's holding us up is the agreement we need to get from Assumption Parish. If that takes 60 days, then 60 days. If it takes a year, we hope not. But you're dealing with elected officials, so everybody. That won't affect the project moving forward. It will if we don't get the permission to get on the property.
Okay.
So we need that. It would affect it. That would affect it. Also the weather. So if it rains a lot and we have other weathers, it causes us to take a little.
So
longer.
we're at the point now with this property where we have to go with emergency declaration. Is it because you can't contact the landowners, or they're
Right.
not agreeing?
We can't contact the landowner. We hired, you all paid for Dennis to do all of that, and we could, that was this one landowner he couldn't contact. So when you can't contact the landowners, you can do the emergency declaration.
Yeah, and once we get that done, weather permitting, what type of lead time are you looking for a finish?
So here's the thing. We are working now. We are approaching that junction.
Finishing point.
So it hasn't actually.
No, it's not
stopped yet.
stopped. We're approaching that. We're about a day or two of work, snagging and dredging where we are now headed. So if we start here, we made the turn, and then that goes back to 70 like that.
So pretending that we had the right of way, how much longer would we look at?
If we had the right of way, I would say 3 weeks
Wow, okay.
notwithstanding bad weather.
That's
Yeah.
quick.
Oh yeah.
That's fast work. That's good.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to celebrate and let the people know, what we're doing. So, and as if the water's coming from here and we started here and it goes to the Gulf, we got to complete it. We're gonna have to dredge, but it's a different type of dredging. You got to get permission from the Corps. They don't like you just going on certain type of. And then you got all those owners back there. They don't want you disturbing their hunting season. But we don't let that worry us. We just talk about that. But I'd say about 3 weeks. The weather's going to be good enough for us to complete it. And I think our attorneys are going to get together and give us the permission because they want us to finish that so we can go do the dredging on that leads us to the Fields of Dreams. That subdivision is important that we address that because it connects to where we started.
All right, we want to, West Ascension and Ascension Parish in general, want to thank you all for coming. We look forward to finishing it up, and we would hope that you can come back and give us a slide on the beginning to the end, the finishing product,
Right.
on where you started and where you finish up with a slide show, and we'll get that set up and have it ready for you to come if you're so willing to do so.
I would. Yes, I'd be glad to do that.
We'll be very honored that if you would come back and help us.
And then,
Also, we'd like to thank Mr. Ed Price.
yes,
Without notice, the work that he's doing behind the scene. We want to thank him for his hard work and dedication in pushing this thing forward. And again, we appreciate the effort that we have seen thus far. Looking forward to finishing it up. So thank you, Mr. Henry, and Mr. Henry. We thank you all for coming. Appreciate it very much.
And to be more specific, we got $400,000 from capital outlay to do the project. So,
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to our next trip.
yes. Last time he came, he got on the four-wheeler with us, and he had on good clothes, but he was not clean when we left.
You know, I found all kind of healthy benefits from that mud. I think I might have to go back in.
Make sure, Mr. Henry, a little time in advance.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'll
Oh, yeah. I had been telling you that what happened is, a lot of times, the last time I talked to you about it, we were thinking at that time that we were very near completing as well, but then the weather and the pandemic and all of that stopped. So we had a quiet communication going on with, we didn't want to come out publicly and say because we didn't have any idea when we were going to finish,
Right.
with the pandemic going on. But I am very proud of that project, and I look forward to letting
We
y'all
are too.
see how we clean that
Operate,
up,
yeah.
cut that canal out.
We appreciate it.
Interesting
Thank you.
work. Thank you.
very much.
I have to leave, but I'm not being rude. I just have to leave. Thank y'all for the
Thank you.
invitation.
Thank you. Number 7, the drainage report. Ms. Regina Thomas, Supervisor, DPW.
The monthly report we're currently cutting grass on the Irish Canal heading to Highway 70. We have 2 tractors down waiting on parts. Due to the high winds, we haven't started spraying yet. Drainage, we are still cleaning out the waterways, removing trees and debris from Hurricane Ida. We're almost complete with the project on Bocage Place subdivision, Melrose Place subdivision, back off of the, going toward the loop. We're currently on the extension of Marion Drive by the 945 loop. We cut up the trees in Lemonville Park. Mr. Benny Bourgeois and his crew came out. We had a big tree that fell in Modes Park, and Mr. Benny Bourgeois and his crew came out and cut the tree and hauled it off from Modes Park. I want to thank them for that. Litter, I included some of the items that we have dealing with litter in your packages. Cotton Drive, we had the survey crew out and they completed the surveying today. They surveyed the whole stretch was 1,993 feet. They put out 16 stations showing a 15-foot servitude. There was a total of 73 trees in the servitude, measuring from 12 inches to 54 inches in diameter. There is 1 tree house, 3 tree stumps in the servitude also. The crew will start drafting up everything for the presentation for it next week to get everything loaded up.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right, Ms. Regina, thank you. Things are going real good. Appreciate the hard work.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank y'all for taking care of Bocage.
Mhm.
I passed back there. I came back there when you all was back there. That looked pretty good.
Yeah.
The guy on the machine,
Brian Grant.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
knows
did a great
business.
job.
He did a super job.
Mhm.
He looked it real good. They was real satisfied. The residents within that area came out and looked at it, and they were real pleased with it. So, good job. And
We dug the hot spots and we dug the back of Oak Ridge behind those apartments, the townhouses,
the apartments and
with the outfall.
Yeah.
Mhm. We cleaned that out also from the loop to going toward Highway 308.
and that's all that's city limits. Okay. Well, thank you, and thank Mr. Sullivan had someone to come and flag.
Yeah, we had help.
You all had help.
Mhm.
Want to thank the city of Downsbury also.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, number 8, date and time of the next West Ascension Drainage Board meeting. May 5th, May 5th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I second that motion. Meeting is adjourned.